Man City have completed the signing of midfielder Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan. The 26-year-old Netherlands international, he passed his medical on Sunday and he's now joined City for a fee, I think initially around £46 million with some add-ons in that as well. So a new midfielder in at Man City, not just any midfielder, the Serie A midfielder of the year. This is a signing, Stephen, that City fans can really get excited about, can't they?
Yeah, another cracking footballer of the right profile, the right age. Absolutely desperate to be here. We're bringing in that hunger and that quality. A good age again in mid 20s. He's 26 years old. Not got a lot of legs as well. Not got a lot of history, in elite level football because he's only played a couple of years for AC Milan and AZ Alkmaar before that. But 4 or 5 years ago, he was in their youth team. So he's got a lot of energy. He's not got too much mileage in the tank. He's also got an awful lot of quality. He reminds me very much of a young Ilkay Gundogan in terms of that elegant stride, a wonderful ability to sort of crash the box late, which Gundogan thrived off a couple of years ago playing alongside Haaland. You think of his performances in the treble winning season, the goals against United in the final. Just in general, his sort of clutch gene. I know that sounds a bit like lazy, but you know what I mean by that. He scores big goals when it matters, and Reinders has a very similar mentality. Scores wonderful goals. Great dribbler as well, which seems to be a prerequisite for these days for Guardiola midfielders. The last few ones you've signed, Kovacic, Nunes obviously not worked out very well. Kovacic has. They can carry the ball and get past people, and I think Guardiola wants that these days more and more from signings. You think of Savino, I think of Doku, even Guardiola as well. People are very comfortable stepping into midfield, stepping past people. Reinders fits this perfectly, and has that Dutch heritage of sort of, technically excellent footballer, a complete midfielder, loads of ability. He's got loads of headroom to improve as well. I'm looking at his pass completion, for example, it's about mid 80s. That'll go up 5, 6, 7% at Manchester City under Guardiola. Have a lot more touches. He'll allow City to play in different ways alongside Rodri. I think he'll be perfect as well, sort of helping him, collect the ball in that role we were talking about, where you got your two centre backs and you got maybe three midfielders ahead of him. Reinders, Rodri, another will almost certainly be how City line up. And then I can't wait to see how he gets on. I think Club World Cup will be a great way for him to settle in. Uh, nice and quickly for City, straight into something competitive. Yeah, I can't wait. I think it's going to be a spectacular football. And I think the signings, once again, the price of the pair of them, it's about 80 million tops all in for both of them. And but what if one of these was English and another club, they'd probably be worth. Look, Livramento rumored to be around 75 to 80 million on his own. Yeah, it's a brilliant deal in this market.
Yeah, and with, of course, Kevin De Bruyne leaving now and Mateo Kovacic is potentially sidelined for around 3 months after undergoing Achilles surgery. So the addition of a new midfielder was a priority for City, wasn't it, heading into the Club World Cup? And do you expect Reinders now to slot straight into Guardiola's team, or has he still got maybe a little bit of work to do to move ahead of the likes of Bernardo Silva or Ilkay Gundogan, for example, for a regular start straight away?
100%. Yeah, I think he walked straight into the team, to be honest. I think he just fits the profile. Obviously, there might be some teething issues, and Guardiola, of course, is always prone to playing Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, the people that he trusts. But with another Bruyne there, um, and it's perfect chance, to these players to come in hungry and fresh. Yeah, I think he walks straight into the tide. I think he brings something that City have been lacking, and energy in terms of he's got the physical capabilities that maybe Gundogan and Bernardo don't have anymore. Maybe Bernardo to an extent, but definitely not the former. Yeah, once again, and that hunger and that ability and the tactical versatility that he's got, yeah, I think there's almost certainly going to be a regular start from Manchester City. Look, it might take him a little bit of time to find his rhythm, and we saw with Nico Gonzalez as well, where when he played really well, but look, it reminded me a little bit of that bit in Phil Whiplash, where the guy's like, not quite my tempo. You can tell he's got the talent, but I think Pep always felt that Nico Gonzalez was great, but he just wasn't quite there yet in terms of the rhythm, and hence why he lent on the experienced players like Gundogan and Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne, because we needed to do a job essentially, and we needed to get Champions League qualification. I don't think that's quite the same pressing issue because it's the start of the season, so it's time for new ideas. But I think there might be a small element of Reinders having to get the tempo of Manchester City and make sure his position is right and all that kind of stuff. Because Guardiola sees things that others don't. You can sign a 50 million midfielder from the Premier League side who's an international, and they can barely get a minute football if Guardiola thinks they can't, be where they need to be or make the right pass or move when they need to move or stay still when they need to stay still. Ask Nunes and Calvin Phillips about that. So I think he's good enough. I expect he is good enough. I expect Pep Guardiola thinks he's good enough, and he probably will play an awful lot. But there's always a small chance that he might take a little bit of time to adapt. But I think the plan is to use him immediately if he can.